Hi, thanks for joining us for this week's episode of InFocus Recouched.
We've got some great highlights from the InFocus archive to bring to you today, including a musical couple and a woman who has devoted decades of her life to refugees on the Thai-Burma border.
Oh, yeah, incredible stuff. Let's kick off, though, with a segment from Sue Rad, which goes a long way to explaining why jet lag can get you so out of whack.
Let's take a look.
You would not believe it, but the body, your body, is run by many, many clocks. Not just one clock, but many clocks all over your body from your... Well, this is why we have our resident nutritionist, Sue Rad. Tell us about it. Sue, I thought I had one clock in my body, and this is called chronobiology?
That's right. This is a new area of science called chronobiology, which basically means the study of the biorhythms in living beings.
Not just sleep, you know, my eyes. That's the only clock I'm aware of when I want to sleep and when I want to wake up, my eyes.
The body's actually designed to function on a 24-hour cycle. So lots of things change, go up or down over the 24 hours. Things are not static. So, for example, your digestive enzymes are optimised in the morning or earlier in the day. So if you eat very late at night, it's not the best time to be eating, and that will actually help promote obesity. Weight gain for everyone, type 2 diabetes, heart attack, stroke, cancer, and even shorten your life.
So this is my digestive system. If I drink something or eat something, there's a digestive clock.
Well, actually, what scientists have discovered is that we now have more than 20 clocks in the body. That's right. You've got a clock, James, in your heart.
Oh, my heart.
Absolutely. You've got a clock in your gut.
So my heart's ticking in a different way at night than it is during the day.
Well, basically how it works, these clocks are in your genes. And so there are clocks in your gut, clocks in your liver, clocks in your pancreas, but the major clock that collates all the other clocks, keeps them in sync, is the clock in your brain.
Oh, okay, yes, okay.
And the problem comes along when these clocks are not synchronised. When they're synchronised, the body works really, really well. Everything does what it's supposed to do. But influences, external influences, can affect the synchronisation of these clocks.
So the brain's like an iPad, it just runs all the other clocks, does it?
Well, it's the master clock.
That's the master clock.
So food is one of the major disruptors of these clocks. And
even
the timing
your brain.
of when
food
you
will
eat.
Wreck your brain's
That's
clock.
right. They say it's a major chrono disruptor, especially eating late at night, which is why we've known for ages that shift workers really struggle with weight. They struggle with multiple diseases because they're not in sync with their clocks.
Okay. So before we talk about food a little bit more, can I just ask the question? The question is, if food is the major disruptor, can food also be a method of retuning your clock?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's very, very important if you're struggling to lose weight, for example, or you're trying to manage your diabetes better, that you avoid eating late at night.
So I went to a concert last night and enjoyed it with my wife and had chips at 10 p.m. Is that why I couldn't sleep later on?
It could be one of the reasons,
But
James.
it's a major problem, isn't it?
For example, in Spain, they've conducted a study and shown if you eat before 3 o'clock compared to eating after 3 p.m, you put on more weight if you eat late. And the reason for this, they've discovered, is that you're more insulin resistant. So if you're going to eat carbohydrate foods, you really should be having most of them earlier in the day, because your body is designed to digest food better and your metabolic enzymes work better earlier in the day. For example, even how your gut works, the peristalsis, these are the wave-like motions that help the bowel motions travel through. You've got greatest activity about 8:30 in the morning, whereas at night around 10 o'clock, those wave-like motions start to shut down, go to sleep. So we're designed in a specific way to work within a 24-hour cycle. If we eat late, what we're doing is disrupting all these biological clocks, making them go out of sync, and we're paving the way to not only gain weight, but to bring on all these chronic diseases a lot earlier.
Now, that's the simple problem. Can I ask the man's question? It's probably the lady's question too. I love eating at night. Just very briefly, Sue, what can we do at night if we want to eat?
Well, I think you should set a time at night after which you don't eat, and you can work that out with your family as to what the curb time should be. When you do eat at night, it might make sense to eat something lighter. For example, you could go for a vegetable soup or a salad or something lighter at night.
That looks nice soup.
Yeah. Vegetable barley soup, that kind of thing.
It's nice and light.
Well, it's lighter than having a full-on, cooked meal. And lastly, we should all try and look at our lifestyle and to try and get to bed earlier. try and, you know, shut off the stimulus, the modern stimuli, the lights, the gadgets, the computers, the television, and get some earlier sleep. Because the better quality sleep we have, the more in sync the clocks are. The less late that we eat at night, the more in sync the clocks are. And of course, the healthier we eat, that also helps with the synchronicity.
Sue, thank you. So I'm inspired. In fact, I'm going to retune my own body clock. I think I'm going to start eating lighter meals at night, and I'm going to have all my clocks in sync. It's just incredible.
Well, we all learnt a new word, didn't we? Chronobiology. Interesting.
Yeah. But I guess I do understand a little bit more why people always say, you know, don't eat late at night. You know, it's bad for you. Because I used to think, well, how could one part of the day possibly be any better or worse than any other?
Well, now you know, Kent.
Yeah, true.
We'll take a quick ad break now. Back soon.
We live our lives running around, rarely stopping to ask ourselves where we're going and what our final destination is. In the end, our lives become little more than routine. Step beyond and discover a path that offers comfort, love and hope. Visit hopeoffer.com/step beyond or call 1300 300 389 for your free copy today.
We're going to start with some soybeans. Use some chickpeas, an onion, you have a teaspoon of salt, slice some tomatoes, slice some cucumber, some red onion just to give it a bit of freshness. So just make little falafels like this. They just smell amazing. Let's make our tahini dressing. Let's get in some tomatoes, cucumbers, some falafels. Drizzle some of this lovely dressing. All you need to do is roll it up and you've got a delicious lunch for your family.
Hi, welcome back. We're going to take a look now at an interview with a couple who recorded their very first album right here at Adventist Media in Sydney.
Oh, yeah, lovely people. And it's great to see how they're using their music not to build a business or crack the charts, but to connect with people spiritually.
Let's take a look.
Well, it's great to have in this studio today some people who have called themselves musicianaries. Is that the right word?
Yes.
That is it, yeah.
Yep. Eric and Monique, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So what is a musicianary? Help us out.
A musicianary is basically combining the words a musician and a missionary.
Okay.
So that's our main focus, just to be missionaries for God, just to speak about Him through our music.
Okay, so what does your average week or month look like, Eric?
Well, it's really a lot of time in the office, actually. Monique's doing a lot of the booking, planning for future tours, calling people, emailing people, if we're on tour, on the road. Yeah.
So you guys are doing this full-time now, aren't you? So full-time, concerts, touring, travelling?
Yeah, we started, 3 years ago, full-time?
Yeah, nearly 3 years ago. We started doing this full-time, which involves what Eric said, being in the office but also being on the road around Australia. We still have to get to Northern Territory, but we've been to all the other states.
And you've been overseas as well, is that right?
Yeah, we've been able to do some touring in America as well as in Europe and New Zealand.
Is that exciting, or some people hate travel, some people love it?
We love
travel.
Yeah, we love travel. It's sort of, a lot of people say to us, oh man, it must be so cool seeing all those things. And a lot of the time we're actually driving past all the awesome sites because we have to get to a church to do a concert, so we miss out on a few things. But the days where we have off, it's just great.
Yeah. Now, you said you've been doing this for about 3 years. Can I take you back there about 3 years ago? You guys were having a real struggle with like lifestyle, materialism, all this sort of stuff. Can you explain what was going on there and what helped you make your decision to take the direction you have?
Well, that actually happened 6 years ago.
Oh, that was even longer
ago. Yeah, it was
ago.
even longer ago. We were kind of struggling because we were both working for God. I was a high school teacher at an Adventist school and Eric was doing youth pastoring. But I don't know if you've ever had that where you just feel like something's missing, where in your heart it doesn't feel like you're truly following in every single part of your life. And we felt that way, and so we just started to pray about it, pray where God wanted us to go, and He ended up leading us and taking a whole year off and just literally giving a year to God.
Wow.
Which led us to volunteer in Ukraine for 6 months and then to go to a Bible college called Arise in America.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a real spiritual revival for me. I was listening to a lot of sermons on faith, and there was one guy that just went out and made all these amazing decisions based on faith, and I thought, man, am I doing that? Am I living by faith, or am I just going with the status quo? So, yeah.
It's often struck me, actually, that, we look at Jesus and his disciples, touring around Galilee, doing this itinerant thing, and you think, how does that even relate to how we live our lives today? And honestly, the only thing that I've found any connection with is a touring band. Okay. That's, you know what I mean? It is sort of like Jesus and his disciples moving around, living by faith. Does it strengthen your faith? Touring?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's definitely been a progressive thing, though. Like, in order for us 6 years ago, in order for us to go to Arise, we didn't have any money at all. We were in Ukraine. We had $200 in our bank account, and we needed quite a bit to not only get to America, but also pay for the tuition and live there, doing the college. So we were praying about it. We let people know, this is what we're thinking about doing. And over the next few months, slowly through maybe $200, $500, sometimes a couple thousand, we got the exact amount of money that we needed to go to this Bible college.
Wow.
And yet, when we got there, it was only about 1 month before the end of the course, and we were down to $55. And even though we had seen everything that God had given to us in the past, and God does provide. He does look after everything that we need. We were met with this decision at church this one morning. All that year, this year we had given to God, we said, whatever money we have in our wallet, we would give to him. No matter how little, no matter how much. Because, God promises I believe it's in Malachi, where if we, give him our offerings and our tithes, that he will open the storehouses of heaven. And God says, try me in this. And we thought, okay, we'll do that. We'll try this. But when we got down to our last $55, we were in church, and the offering was called, and I opened my purse, and there were $50 in there.
Just happened to be that.
I had left the $5 at home.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, it should be the 5. Why is the 50
I know,
in there?
like,
Oh, okay. The wrong note was in there.
The wrong note. And so I looked at Eric, and I said, what are we going to do? And he's like, I don't want to do it. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to give this $50.
And that was the commitment you'd made.
Yeah, it was the commitment.
Yeah.
And so it was literally like this horror story film moment where everything went slow and there was this doom music, and there was all these nerves, and we just looked at each other and we had a prayer. And as soon as we finished praying, we just knew we had to do it. We had to give this money. And so the offering plate came by, we gave the $50, and instantly we felt at peace.
Wow.
Then later that night, we were doing this community concert, this community evangelism thing. I was one of the greeters at the door. This guy I had never seen walked through, shook his hand. When he went away, I looked down, there was two $50 notes in my hand.
Oh, wow.
Double.
And I raced,
double your money.
I raced after him, I'm like, you forgot something. And he's like, no, I don't know you, but God impressed on me to give you this.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa.
Incredible.
No way.
Wow.
But then, later on that night, one of our teachers came and gave us an envelope saying, this person got impressed to give you this money, but they didn't want you to know who it was, and it was another two $50 notes.
There you go. Wow. That's incredible.
Amazing.
So amazing.
Yeah. So Eric, is living by faith just about money? I mean, you're touring now. Obviously, money's a part of it, but how do you find your faith is affected?
Just did as a deeper level. We're writing songs and we're touring. We're hearing so many amazing stories of how people were blessed by the concert or the music, and just having to make that step of faith and to plan out a whole tour where you don't know how it will work out. You just have 10, 12 dates, and we don't charge fees. It's all faith driven. So a lot of the churches will give a love offering or something like that, but
a donation sometimes.
Yeah. So
CD sales.
Just the whole process of having to step out over and over again, increases your faith. Really it does for me anyway. Yeah. But there'll be times like that story where you're like, no, we can't do it. This is silly. Why are we doing this? And no matter how many times God has worked in the past, it's just you doubt, you question.
And I notice one of the songs on your new album here, Everlasting, is Doubting Thomas.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Now, let's just talk about your music for a little while. Your first album had some fairly sort of heavy theological, Laodicea, the Sanctuary, all sort of theological stuff. Would you describe this album as being similar or different?
In some ways it's similar, in other ways it's different. It's a little bit more personal with the doubting, and the first song on the album is called Temporary, and it's about why do I love this world so much, and like why can't I give it up? If heaven's my home, why don't I live like that?
Wow.
Yeah, so it's I would say it's very personal.
In the first part of the album, and then as we go to the second part of the album, it has more of those heavy biblical things. Like,
so it's still quite strongly biblical.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, just because we're out of time, but just as we do finish, let's just have a quick listen just to one of your clips there. This is Orion.
Lofty Mount Zion, city of light, praise Him forever. No end in sight. Beauty no words can describe. Beauty no words can describe. Heaven, the gates open wide. Heaven, shining so bright.
Hey, thanks guys for that. So where can we get hold of this album? Through your website, ericandmonique.com,
Yeah,
is that right?
ericandmonique.com. It's on all the digital platforms, well, most.
Yeah.
iTunes, Google Play. Our website where you buy it off their digital version as well. So
Yeah. Oh, that's excellent. Hey, thanks so much for being here, and may God continue to bless your ministry, and thanks for your inspirational faith stories. It's incredible stuff.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Such a cute couple, hey?
I know they were, weren't they? But I was mainly impressed with how they're stepping out in faith for God. Just trusting Him to look after their next gig, their next dollar, whatever.
It's very scary, but very cool.
Yeah.
Time for an ad break now. Don't go away. We'll be back in a minute.
Father, I can't connect the dots through the little that I understand. What words can I say to reach you? How can I know that you are there, listening, hearing, caring? My words are broken, weak, and powerless. But I know your power is limitless. What can I say?
Planning your future can be a daunting task. What you want to do, who you want to be, and the road ahead can often be unpredictable. No one really knows what the future holds. That's just part of what makes it all so amazing. And that's why a great education matters. Because it doesn't just help you get a great job, it helps you prepare for what life can throw at you and live a great life. Avondale, it's education designed for life.
Hi, welcome back. We're going to see an interview now with a lady I've admired for many years, since I was a teenager actually. She's passionate, she's dedicated. She's not always easy to get along with.
Oh, well, let's take a look.
Well, I'm here with the principal of Eden Valley Academy. Now, that sounds pretty posh, doesn't it? What you probably don't realise is that Eden Valley Academy, Helen, is pretty much an illegal school that's been operating for about 30 years in a refugee camp on the Thai-Burma border, is that right?
Yes, it's been in various places, but it's been operating for 32 years.
Wow.
And it was named by the mission president because we didn't have a name for it, and then we decided to call it Eden Valley Academy.
Well, there you go. And how many kids have you got there the last count? It's all the way from grade 1 to year 12, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Last year we started off with around 1,000, but it drops as the year goes by and people go resettlement or they try to sneak into Thai society.
Wow, okay. So, and you've been there since, what, 32 years? So what year was that? My maths isn't too good.
I'm no good on years either.
1982, does that sound about right?
About right, yeah.
Yeah, 1980. So you've been there since 1982, a single lady, just devoting your life, you know, to these people. And here you are in Australia, having a bit of a break. Little bird told me you're, what, 76 now? So is this it? And end of the line, time to hang up the boots?
No, there's too much to do. While I'm well, I'm going to work. We've got to re-establish the school somewhere else soon.
Okay, why is that?
Because we think the refugee camp will close maybe 2015 after the Burmese elections.
Okay. This is the Mela.
Mela. Oh, it's every refugee camp in Thailand.
Oh wow. Okay. Now the situation in Burma, Helen, is interesting. You know, only a couple of years ago we saw, you know, Aung San Suu Kyi released after her house arrest. We saw sort of, you know, democracy sort of beginning to unfold in Burma, or Myanmar, if, you know, its official name at the minute. How is that looking from your perspective? Because you've got a lot of people who've come over the border into Thailand from that conflict there. What's the story?
Some people think it's improving, other people don't trust. Most people don't trust. They think the Burmese are trying to infiltrate all the tribal areas, and then they will take control and the tribal people won't be able to do anything, so people don't want to go back.
So even though there's a situation in Parliament, you know, perhaps where, you know, there's more democracy, I keep hearing these awful stories out in the regions that the Kachin, you know, mainly Christian minority, or the Rohingya, I don't know if I even said that right, the Muslim minorities are all sort of, you know, getting hassled still.
Yes, they are, and some Karen areas also. The people who won't do exactly what they're told, then they bring in the soldiers.
Okay. So we've heard some terrible stories, you know, about forced labour and killings and rapings and villages being burnt down. And is that still going on, as far as you know?
Not close to us, but yes, it is still going on.
Well, okay. Now, I understand, Helen, that you've got some plans to establish a school, not just in Thailand, but establish another school actually within the borders of Myanmar. How's that project going?
Well, we've had a lot of meetings about it with Brendan Irvine from ADRA, Myanmar, and we decided one place that's in the Peace Council area, which is close to us, and everybody agreed that this would be a neutral place, and all of the different Karen groups, because there are many, came together and said yes, they will respect this, and they would be happy to send their kids there. But since then, the Burmese government have said no international NGOs may work in that area.
Oh, wow.
So that puts us in a bit of trouble, because we've got Nathan and Epor Thorpe with us, and myself and Jack and Amy are with us.
So these are all people from, what, Australia?
From Australia.
Or outside the country?
They're not, they've got one Karen in each family, but they're from Australia, and so that means we can't go over. We can for a few hours, but to live there.
You're not an NGO yourself, though. You're not Helen Hall Incorporated, are you?
I'm under ADRA, though. You see, you have to be under some group to be able to work at all.
Okay. I understand sometimes you get a little bit impatient working with NGOs, and you like to sort of be independent and sort of do things your own way. You've said some pretty funny things about NGOs and all their paperwork, and you know, how you get a bit impatient with that.
Yes, I do, because I want things to happen. And if you don't jump in at the right moment when there's a chance, by the time they've all sat and talked about it, the chance is gone.
But nevertheless, you've kept partnering with ADRA, haven't you? Yeah. Well, why is that?
I can't get into the camp if I don't.
Oh, okay. So it gives you some sort of official identity and a bit of, okay, oh, that's fair enough.
And ADRA are working in school projects too now, so that they can help us a bit.
Okay. Now, how many kids do you think you've managed to take through school in those 32 years? It must have been a fair few by now.
I've lost count.
Yeah.
But everywhere I go, they come up to me and they say, Oh, you remember me, Tharamu? Well, I don't, because they look so different, and now they've got children, and some people are saying they want to send their kids back. One person offered to send me their daughter to work with us once she graduates here.
What do they call you? Tharamu?
Tharamu, teacher.
Teacher, oh, okay. Okay, so they call you teacher in the Karen language, is
Karen.
it? Yeah, wow. That's incredible. So if our viewers are sort of, you know, interested in what you're doing here, because this school goes on, you've got kids just busting to get in apparently, what can they do to help you?
At the moment, the best way of helping us is to help us get equipment maybe. We're branching into vocational areas. We're trying to run motor mechanics, baking and cooking, and we've got the buildings built, but as yet we don't have the equipment.
Okay.
And we want to start that this coming year, because we think that if they repatriate, they need some way to earn a living.
Sure.
And they don't like this, but that's what we're trying to push.
Okay.
Every Karen parent wants their kids to be professor somebody or doctor somebody or other, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Now, you're a bit too impatient to muck around setting up a website, aren't you? But you do have email, don't you?
Yeah, I think we've got a website.
Oh, you do have a website? Oh.
I don't know it.
Oh, you don't know it? but your email, you're happy for people to contact you directly on your email?
Yes.
Okay, and that email is, tell me if I get this right, evahelenhall@gmail.com, is that right?
That's right.
Okay, so that's right there on your screen. You can contact Helen Hall if you like, who I like to call my Protestant Mother Teresa. She doesn't like that, but hey, thanks so much for your time today, Helen. I really, appreciate your ministry. It's inspiring.
Thank you for your help.
Wow, through all those ups and downs, she just keeps on going. She's awesome.
She is, yeah, I agree. And it doesn't seem to matter what happens. Burma gets democracy, Burma elects Aung San Suu Kyi.
Yeah.
There are still huge problems in that country.
Massive.
And Helen Hall is sticking by them. She's just over the border there in Thailand, picking up the pieces and educating kids, come what may. She's a truly amazing lady, but that's what I reckon.
Absolutely. Well, it's time for us to finish up. Thanks so much for watching today.
Yes, God willing, we'll see you next time. All the best.
Nature. Peaceful, quiet, calm. The perfect place to relax. Sometimes.
The mountain blew apart with the force of a 24-megaton bomb, devastating 150,000 acres of forest. The mushroom cloud looked like a nuclear blast, ash covering everything, temperatures reaching as much as 600 degrees.
To receive a free DVD of the documentary Beyond Warning, visit hopeoffered.com/warning or call 1300 300 389.